Hi, it's Kiffin Lebates here, and today's video is a resident security video, hence the hat. And I thought it would be fun to talk a bit more about these things, security keys. So the idea is that we should all move away from the traditional username password setups that we currently use to log into services online. We've tried to secure them with things like multi-factor authentication, with authenticator apps, and it's turning out to be very, very tricky to secure our online presence, given the number of hackers out there and the amount of malware that is spreading around. And these security keys are the next step, or the next iteration, in trying to make our online accounts secure. And what I thought it would be fun to talk about today is how these things work. What is actually going on inside this device to provide you with what is called a passwordless login. So, as the name suggests, the idea is to move towards a login or an authentication process that doesn't require human beings to remember passwords, or these days their password managers. And the fundamental way in which these passkeys, these security keys, function is through the use of asymmetric key cryptography, also known as public-private key cryptography. And what happens is the device, when you first register an account with a website, receives some information from the website, namely a random string to provide some kind of random input to the device, and the username that you're going to be using, and maybe some other information such as a name to display when you log in. So that's your human name rather than a username, and some details about the authentication methods that are permitted through the key. And then what the key does is it generates a private key for a digital signing algorithm. So this is the asymmetric key cryptography part, and it derives the corresponding public key, and then it passes back to the website the challenge that it's received from the website. Remember, that contained the random string and the username and possibly the display name. So that's digitally signed by the passkey, and when the website receives that digital signature, it can verify the signature, make sure that the signing has occurred correctly, and it can extract the public key from the signature, because that's how public-private key cryptography works. And now the website stores your username and your public key, and that becomes your user account on the website. Then in the future, when you want to log in, instead of providing a username and a password, the website can query your passkey. It's plugged into your computer. There's actually a little metallic disc there, so they require you to touch that to allow the key to function. That's to make sure you're physically present at your computer when you're logging in, and it's not happening through some kind of remote process. And then the website sends a new challenge to be signed to your browser. Your browser passes it on to the key. The key then digitally signs that with the private key, and the signature is passed back to the website. And now, once again, the web server can verify that the digital signature is valid and correct and contains the public key registered against your username. And if that all matches, then the challenge has been met, and you are authenticated, and the web server will log you in. And so this system is passwordless because there is no password. What is happening is this hardware device is storing your private key, and the private key is signing every time to prove that it is you who is logging on. So it's, in cryptographic terms, it's not immensely complicated. The standard that is used for this has been clearly defined. It's called FIDO2. That's the current iteration. There was a FIDO1, which was called FIDO, because the first thing is never given a number. And cryptographers and security experts continue to work on ensuring that these things are as secure as possible. At the moment, it's all looking very good and reliable. We'll have to see, of course, in the future, because hackers are cunning and clever. or rather there are enough of them out there that some of them are cunning and clever, and they are always looking for weaknesses and vulnerabilities to exploit. So I have no doubt that at some point in the future somebody's going to find a way of getting around it, and then we'll have to have another iteration. But for now, security keys or passkeys are your most secure method for securing your online accounts. And I do recommend that if you are concerned about your online security, that you move to using them. The other thing about them is that you have to look after them very carefully. If you lose your key, then you're going to be locked out of your account, and then there'll be some kind of convoluted process to try to get access back to your account. Or if you're unlucky, it may even be the case that they just won't give you access to that account anymore, which would be a bad thing. But the upside is that you can use more than one key. You can buy 2, 3 or 5 of these passkeys, and you can register all of them against your account, the same account. And that means that if you, for example, have 2 like I do, I have one that I use every day, and I have another one that I have locked away in a drawer in my desk in a little secret compartment at the back. Well, I've now given it away, so it's not so secret as it was before. But anyway, it's kept safely in reserve in case this key breaks, because of course it's hardware, so it's possible that over time something will go wrong with it, or if I lose it, or if I accidentally stand on it and break it, something like that. Then I have the backup one, and then I can order another one to have as a new secondary pass key when I switch to moving on to using the current reserve key. Anyway, I mean, it's simple enough, you understand it. So that's a bit on passkeys, why they are better than username, password plus 2-factor authentication logins, and a bit about how they function. If you have more queries about this, or you're looking for support in setting up a more secure online presence for you or your company, then do reach out to Resonance Security. It's one of the things that they specialize in, and I do recommend that you give your online security a bit of thought, because it's a lot less safe out there online than it used to be 20 or 30 years ago. I'll wrap this video up now because it's been going on long enough. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next video soon. In the meantime, keep safe out there.